should be just the logo when that comes up. There it comes. No, that's you. Shit.
What have you done?
Put you up. Wave to him.
Take Greetings, I've woken up. To get that reference, you'll have to go and see Avengers Endgame. No, not really. You'll have to just watch right at the start of the 3-minute crawl, because John messed up with the buttons. Fred, blessed love to all of you. Thank you for joining us. We've got a good few of you on already, but Fred, right, listen, small ships. I'll show you what I use. I've got a small ship. Basically, the FFG peg is 4mm. So you can just get a 4 by 1mm disc magnet from eBay. Give us the a little shot of the overhead, please, director. I'll show them quickly. I'll show you, look, that's a 4mm disc magnet fitted to the bottom of a droid fighter. And there's another 4mm magnet on that. This is a ring magnet. It's a 4 by 2mm ring magnet. And I use that with a tiny little ball bearing like this. See these ball bearings? And you can put the ball bearing in between if you want to create a swivel. But if you just want a flat joint, just use a 1 by 4mm disc magnet, rare earth disc magnets. That's it. That's all you need to do. That's normally enough for any of the small ships. So we go back to my beautiful face. So, who we got on? We got Kay. Hey, Kay. We got Corporal Hicks, 1986. You know I love you. Not really. We got Ulfric. Right, so we are carrying on with our... how's the ribs? They're getting a little bit better, actually. The ribs are getting better. I've put on a little bit of weight because of the ribs. I put like half a stone back on because I haven't had the chance to do my training. Steve Bolton. Oh, hello there. I'll be painting mainly tonight in a natural palette, which will be made of barley rose, cornfields and cider. I love Steve Bolton. Kev, love you, bro. I got your message when I got here. Bucket of Awesomeness. That's just such an awesome name. So look, I've got so much stuff to show you. Amish, Josh, thank you all. We got 24 already. I've got so much stuff to show you. So I'm going to eke it out because I'm going to let the numbers go up a bit because I proper got some bling with me, right? But for those of you that were with me last week, can you give me my up-down camera?
Yeah.
And the little one in the corner. Right, so remember I was messing about with a droid fighter and I was like, I want to make this thing stand up. So this was just, I know it is, but it's just your name's too awesome to call you Phil. Or Pond, because that's not awesome. Ponds. You want to be a lake. Phil Lake, that's what I'm calling you from now on. Anyway, moving on. This was just one option. So I drilled 2 little holes and mounted, I think they're like 4mm ball bearing or a 3mm ball bearing, something like that, steel ball bearing that I sanded with a bit of emery paper. And I drilled a hole in the wings that I cut off. Again, this is a 4mm hole and this is a 4mm by 2mm ring magnet. And you just pop them on the side. And they let you, I'll show you in this profile, they let you make him stand up. So now he's on the rock and they got a bit of posability. It looks quite good, doesn't it? So it was just one way of doing it. I am going to explore a couple of other methods, but this to me seemed like the happy medium where I weren't going to have interchangeable legs. It was something every one of you could do. If you like this and you want me to actually do one on stream, you know, let us know in the comments and I'll do another one on stream, exactly this method. Or if you think I should explore more advanced, in-depth, annoying methods, let me know. So there you go. That's just a little catch up from last week. I quite like him. I wish I could make his head stand up like it does in the films, but it is asking a bit too much on such a small model. But there you go, Kev. That's what I did with your droid fighter. And then you can put him back. And I also, because I like posing things, you can like rake the wings in a little bit, or you can, he's doing a, you know, I don't know, just messing about with it. It's just a bit of fun at the end of the day. Playing toy spaceships. We should be able to play with our things. God, I've got my phone on for me Twitch to earn spondoolies. You can put back to me. Okay. And it's vibrating on the side. So listen, for those of you watching us, we have this spondoolies thing. So while you're watching, you earn your spondoolies and you earn more if you're a subscriber. Or do you only earn if you're a subscriber?
No,
you
earn
more.
You earn more.
So if you're subscribed to this, which would be great, if you haven't subscribed on Twitch, please do. And on Facebook, like us, whatever it is, or YouTube.
Yeah, or if you tube it.
So I'm going to show you, and this is why I'm going to talk about spondoolies. I'm going to show you what I'm giving away. Oh, bugger, I've done this. Look, there we go. Let's put it in. Go on, give us the other shot again, John. Let's make them feel sick. Right, so last week I gave you a Clone Pilot helmet. Again, this week, to celebrate my Wave 3 upcoming The Clone Wars Have Begun, this is the Droid Pilot. Okay, so you are going to have to put exclamation raffle, and that gets us 100 spondoolies an entry, and you can do up to 3 entries, and if you're a subscriber you get an extra one for free. So it's probably going to go to Rich, who's going to cheer one bit. Shall I show him another dial?
Yeah, let me just put the actual raffle up. It's not actually up yet.
Yeah, Roger. I got a painted one of these for UKTC that is just so bling, but I'm not going to show you it yet. I'm going to leave that to Mr. Wardle when I send him some proper photos tomorrow. But wait till you see the UKTC one that you can win. Thank you, Bruce. I've got something more amazing to show you guys.
So Ulfric jumped the gun there. He needs to put his eye raffle in again.
You need to do your eye raffle again, Ulfric. It's not like you can't afford it.
Raffle.
Right. Oh, I'm going to look at the camera. And look at me, right? Little me in the corner. Nothing under here. Forget this. This is special. Special. First of the 2 special things to show you. There he is. That's my Darth Maul painted dial cover. You're the first people to be seeing this. This is one of one. It's the only one that's been painted. This is how I kind of create my... Oh, look! And then X-Wing Tavern Wars. Yeah, it's so good. John's nearly coloured it perfectly. Nearly perfectly. So I'm very, very, very happy with this dial cover. It's just so cool. And it was such a pleasure to paint. I'm going to show you another one which is just as awesome. Maybe more awesome. Are you ready? Are you ready? It's Obi Kenobi Wobi. How good is that? I haven't picked up flesh tones for at least 8 years, and it was just lovely painting something flesh. How good is that, Tavern Wars? Right, for those of you that don't look at it. So when you buy a Rasta Maice painted dial cover, you get something quite exceptional. Just so you know, guys. They are beautiful and they're really nice. If you guys want to learn using airbrushing and having large areas to paint and really express yourself, get yourself one of these. You know it makes sense. All other impersonators are just humble impersonators. So, there's some dial covers to show you. And like last week, we were doing the Sith Infiltrator. And I'll show you a couple of bits on the Sith Infiltrator, right? Because I've primed it now. But I want to show you what I did at home. I couldn't help myself. You see this little bit just in here? I'm going to touch it with my tool. This little part. Right, I had to add this. It's just a little bit of plastic card with a bit of detailing like last week, because when I put the wings together and I got home and I looked at it in a better light, I noticed there was this horrible gap and I wanted to get rid of that for when I painted it. As you can see, we've lost completely all the joins of the plastic from where we built this. So the model, for all intensive purposes, is looking like something that is production. As you can see underneath, we've lost none of the panel detail. You can't see the join of the plastic card because everything's been cut back in. So what I did do at home that you guys didn't get to see is I sprayed it once and then I noticed there was a gap. So I filled that with the super glue method like I showed you. And then I sanded it down with wet and dry, very fine modelling sandpaper, which you've seen. I brought when I was doing the model making work. Sanded it down and then re-primed it. Now this is Grey Halford's primer. And this is a car primer, and it's very, very good quality if you use it sparingly. You know, you don't want to blast it, but built in layers, it has the quality of a filler primer. It's a really good primer, you know, worth investing in when you're model making. So, and it lets you, when you sand in between coats, that's what it does with wet and dry. These have been sanded and then recoated, and you get these perfect fills, perfect smooth finishes. So that's what we're painting today. But last week we were talking about, should I use green, should I use this, that and the other, and I brought you some stuff from my house to show you. We were talking about green stuff, right? So this is just something I had in a box that I thought was a nice teaching tool. This is a wire armature. This is bent. It's one piece of metal. There's a formula to bending it. And then on the top of it, I have sculpted the makings of a little halfling's body, right, without his clothes on. That's how most handmade figures start. You know, the old-fashioned way. I don't know how to design in CAD. I'm a bit old like that. And then I'll show you one moved on where I've used part of some plastics as an armature. You guys will know this. Now, this is from the Clone Wars. I'd love to see one of you that knows what this character's name is. He's in the Clone Wars cartoons. He's a Jedi general, and he ends up going a bit rogue. So if the first person to put their name up will get an extra special Rasta hug sent to them in the post. Right, so this is way more of a full green, because we were talking about working in green. So just showing you what I can actually do when I put my mind to it, which we may actually get onto some tutorials of that. That's it. Pong Krell. Thank you, Phil. This is already primed. Now this is a full green Yoda from scratch. I haven't got round to painting it, but no one's ever seen this stuff out of my house. Thank you, Mark, for subscribing.
I've had a few subscribers, but yeah.
Right, I'm afraid the green, the black paint makes it hard to see, but he's properly cool. I've got another one to show you. This is Kit Fisto. Just turning that around for you. All full green. Lightsaber made out of plastic card. Wire armature. It's horrible what the black does to it. Right. And then, right. So I used bass guitar strings and bits and bobs. I brought them in to show you. So this is one of my orcs, right? That's been sat in a cupboard for about 10 years. And let me show you what you can do with bass guitar strings. So this is Badrock, and this is an intense conversion, right? Everything's converted. I've got a whole army like this, never painted. One figure's been painted. Here's the bass guitar strings. Here's a thinner gauge of bass guitar string. Turning the model round for you. You can see the back of his guns adorned with them. You can get them to bend the way, you know, gravity would have things like this going, and hand sculpting something like that would be a nightmare. You can see. So there's use of the brass tube. This is fuse wire. Right, and then we've got green stuff, plastic. So using all the mediums I talked about when we were building the model is the same sort of mediums. Again, this is very thin or a slightly thicker fuse wire. So I'm actually kind of like knitting and weaving. We've got the plastic for his buttons. And then you've got the pure green sculpt where I need to sculpt, you know, making the pirate hat, the epaulets on the shoulders. I'll show you another one. So that's Badrock. And then this is a little pig dock. So working over metal, so an original metal model. Again, you've got plastic and the green. This is also going to be smoke. So this is just a modelling flock that you use for bushes, but then PVA'd so it goes nice and hard. So this is like, yeah, when a lot of the stuff I'm showing you using plastic, this is part of, you could build anything like this to create a master model that then you end up casting and so on and so forth. Showing you some more of that plastic card work, what you can do with some of the different rods, different sized tubes. See, we've got some hexagons here, you can get these in this specific hexagon rod, which you cut into nuts and bolts. So all this stuff, so it's just debunking things, right? So like I said, it's all just geometric shapes. It's all you're doing. Cutting a circle, cutting a cylinder, cutting a rectangle, sticking it together. Same with this sort of workings. So just wanted to show you kind of what you can do with the same sort of modelling techniques we did on the Sith Infiltrator. Right, and we're going to crack on.
You should paint them.
Yeah, John keeps going on at me to paint them, but like I haven't got a million years spare in my life, John. They would be such a lot of work to paint. Let's bring this bad boy in. Sith Infiltrator.
Dolly gave me so he's been and got an airbrush. He's
Awesome. Right, so paint job. I talked about doing a couple of different effects. Talk about doing candy. I'm not going to do candy. Honestly, I've got hardly any clear red left, and I just can't take the chance of either not having enough, or once I start, because I want to do other ships, not having enough to do other ships. And I wanted to do something a little bit more, because I am going to do extensive airbrushing on this. But I also want to do lots of brush painting for you guys. So I want to do more of a classical red. I'm going to start a nice deep dark red and work up to really high oranges, and then to whites almost. And I want to be quite graphic and cartoony in this, because I'm going to kind of use that on the edge where I'm doing the decloak pattern. And it's okay to, when you paint something, to not paint it to be like movie real. It's okay to paint a picture, and that's what I'm going to do with this one. I want to be maybe a bit more cartoony because of the subject matter, and caricature it. And you know what? It's for me. So if it goes wrong, it won't go wrong as such, but if it's not like the best thing in the world, it's okay, because it's mine and I haven't upset a customer. But I reckon it's going to be pretty cool. So kind of the plan is, looking at it, we ain't got a little pencil, have we, John, Andy?
I'm sure I can find one.
John's going to find a pencil. So I'm just going to overall paint it all red, and that's what I'm going to be working on today. I'm going to get all the base coats on, then I'm going to highlight certain areas, all with the airbrush, work up that sort of thing. I may end up even doing a bit of washing and shadowing things afterwards if I've got time. I'm going to pick out some of these areas. These will all be metallic, end up doing the guns metallic. I'm not settled yet on... That's all right. I'm not settled yet on the wings, whether I'm going to pull out the panels or not. I'll see. I'll just start with the red. But decloak pattern. So I was thinking about the decloak pattern quite a long time. So I'm thinking of something like this. So it's going to go across the front, this sort of thing, and cover the front of the nose. Then that will wrap onto the front of these wings. I want a little bit of continuity like that. So it'll come around and cloak this part of this wing. And then the opposite side will be the back of this wing will be cloaked across, and then wrapping onto the body here. So we have some cloaking hitting the body. So I kind of want to have opposite sides to kind of balance out the effect. I don't want it to be front and back. I want it to be a little bit of all over. I might catch a bit on the back of this wing as well with a bit of cloak. I do want to hit the heavy cloak, and I'll tell you for why. Mr. Dalton, I don't know if he's watching, but he sent me this black 3.0. It's meant to be the blackest black in the world, so I'm quite curious to see how that works. Is he on, do you know?
I haven't seen Dalton, no.
OCX, are you OCX, like from across the water, who drinks all the drinks and shouts all the shouts? Because I'm sure you are, and if you are, hey brothers, have you tried the Vallejo sprays at all? As I'm debating getting some to help with my full screen faction repaint. What? Vallejo spray cans? Ah, Lukey. So that's Luke from Gold Squadron. Luke Carrington, you need to check out his stream too. But Luke, share this out with your friends. Americans, if you can't understand me, you have to go and buy a British dictionary, okay?
English dictionary.
I know, I was making a joke.
Oh, yeah,
right? Because you have to talk British like what we do. Would it be Tamia Clearer that using that? No, I'm not going to do that. I was going to use it's the Forge World Clear Reds, right? And they're out of production, and they're like £60 a pot. If you, I'm streaming every Monday apart from one Monday where we're going to do Rasta and Ash. And the next time we do Rasta and Ash will not be next Monday, it'll be the Monday after.
And we do X-Wing streaming on the Tuesday.
X-Wing on Tuesday, and then our monthly 2-day tournaments. So, look, let's just get some base colour down, right? That's what I want to do. So, I've got Scarlet Red. I use this so much. But I might just put a spot of black with it, right? So I've got my trusty airbrush. I've been using it today. I've remembered my old man glasses. Do you know what? I have no idea. I use a lot of sprays that are not specifically for model making. So we had a question, am I right, John, about varnishes.
Yep.
And this was from?
Marty Vickery, or I believe he's on.
Is Marty Vickery? Are you on, Marty?
Yeah, I believe he is.
So I can answer your question. Let me get some tissue. Just to clean the top of my pot. Right, so he asked a question about what varnishes I use on my dial covers. And I use Rust-Oleum Crystal Clear. It comes in 3 types: matte, semi-gloss and full gloss. It's available. I get mine from B&Q. It's just, yeah, it's really heavy duty. It's great stuff. I love it. So I'm just putting a couple of spots of black in there. I want to darken it down a little bit because I want this to be quite moody as a base. So you guys can even see me mixing in my pot. So that actually don't look any different in the pot than it did, but it really is darker than it was. That's weird, that. Maybe the camera's colourblind too, everyone.
Somebody's asking if you're at UKTC this weekend.
Yeah, man. Who's that? Oh, who's that? Who asked?
Phil Pond.
Yeah, we're definitely a UKTC, brother. Absolutely.
Another sub, this time from OCX pre-game.
Love you, dude. Thank you, Luke. Do you guys have an Amazon affiliate link we can use for things you don't stock? I'd like to still support.
We do, but it only seems to work for the US Amazon.
Okay. Right, so I've just put some colour in my brush. Oh, my needle's stuck. So let me just clean that. And what's just dropped on there. I always test it on my hand. This is only base coating. But I'm going to show you it all.
Allfrick's trying to get 25 tickets.
How's Allfrick trying to get 25?
But
I raffle 25.
Yeah. It's only three tickets. Allfrick.
Oh, bit out of shot there. So if they say anything while I'm doing this really inane, boring stuff, John, can you talk to me?
I will.
Because I can't spray and look at screens.
And Dolly Games just donated 500 bits. Thank you.
Thank you, Dodd. So laying a base coat down like this, it lets you not obliterate. There's such fine detail on these models. You don't want to put on too much paint because you'll start losing it.
Apparently Allfrick wins a lot on Gold Scotch and stream as well.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Allfrick's off selling his wares to anyone who'll have him. Where's my brush? Right, so I need to give it... When you airbrushing, that always happens. Anyone's watched me, you know I talk about dry tip. I ain't got my air cover over the needle. I never have that air cover over. I hate it. It just splatters the paint. You have much better control like this. And you will get dry tip whether you've got the air guard on or not. So, but every so often you need to clean. You'll get used to that. John, will you fish me out the hairdryer? And there's always something, isn't there, guys? I forget.
In one of those drawers next to it.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll get it in a minute then.
Either the bottom or the middle drawer.
So the back edge of this, I'm going to catch as much of it as possible with red, because I'm not really sure where I'm going cloaking.
So Bill 0091, you need to put a space between the raffle and the one.
And guys, any questions, remember, pop them up.
While there's curlies on.
Gives me something to talk about while I'm doing this stuff.
So just going to be up for a face-to-face tutorial.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Who's that?
I think Doggy was saying that on CTL Hit 1986.
Well, I'll tell you, in the summer we'll try and schedule some of that. Do it here at the shop.
Saying, have I seen God Squadron stream the large tokens? I think we are trying to do something with the large
Yeah,
tokens.
we are. Just I need to speak to Matt Whittam. Is he on stream, Mr. Whittam?
Yeah, Matt Whittam is on the stream. He said hi to us earlier.
Yeah, I'll message you soon, Matt. They were amazing. I'll tell you what we want, and we'll get that all in the rolling. They're very, very good. The people seem to love those. See, when you're doing big areas, right, airbrush allows you to put paint on with no brush strokes, no imperfections, and it really does change what you're doing paint-wise. On these very small models, you want the paint to be smooth and fine, and they really allow you to do that. I'm just going to let that dry. I need to go over it again a little bit more, right, because there's little places that I missed, and I'll move on to the wings. Get this all done at once. So some of this is going to be quite laborious, right, and samey, but I'm not going to apologise anymore for painting. Painting just takes time. And I'm going to show you what I really do rather than try and rush any of this. But imagine doing this all by hand. Oh, so long. Working off this grey is also really nice as a primer colour. I've become more and more used to working off grey primer now. I really like it. It lets you go dark or light with your next colour. Rather than, you know, you're going with something really harsh like white or really dark like black. Vallejo do a very good fine surface primer. They do a grey one that you can put through the airbrush. To be fair, you can pretty much use any of their air colours as your primer coat. What's the best method for cleaning that paint too? Well, you will get to see that, bro. It's really easy. I have a little brush, a pot and a squeezy bottle of water. I'm going to show you exactly what I do. If you follow this method, you shouldn't really ever need to be big time, oh my god, I need to have my brush all broken down and deep cleaned because it's not working. Because just the maintenance cleaning is all you need to do. And you know, once in a blue moon, you get a bit that gets stuck and you have to have a little take apart, but it's not a big deal. So that's both of those done on one side. I'm getting dry tip again, like I said, on the tip of my needle. It's good to see painting. I've got an airbrush kit but not used it. Grey primer is good. Yeah, grey primer is really good. The Halford's grey is very, very good. I mean, and if you are using just a Vallejo primer, the light grey is really great. Really, really great. Where's my magic pipe? So this is where we ask. Yeah, dude, ask me any questions. I am just sat here painting, and ultimately you're going to learn. listen, I always learnt the most by watching. My picture's gone. I always learnt the most by just, standing behind someone that was really good at something and just watching how they held it with their hands, how they were holding the tools they were using, and and then you just try and repeat the process.
Somebody's asked, do Weekend Wars offer sonic cleaning for airbrushes? Indeed we do.
Oh, indeed we do. Right, so I'm getting back in here, getting in between the crack. Did you just sigh? Oh, no, I thought you sighed at my in between the crack thing.
I should have.
Oh, you have now, because you've heard it. You just missed it. That's what happened.
So, our cleaning service is 15 quid, but doesn't. If there's any spare parts that you need, they're on top, obviously.
John does a great little job, makes it all shiny and everything. So now what I'm doing, just going back over and checking I haven't missed the real nooks and crannies. Because this dark coat, that's really where I want it. I'm going to put loads of light reds. And I'm going to try and like paint with this brush quite a lot at first. Sorry, I'm out of shot. With no masking, and then I will be doing loads of little masking lines.
No. Right, so some Hairy Dragon's been looking on our merch store and asked if we do a larger mug from the shop.
Ha!
Like a 16 ounce. A 16 ounce is an option, Arfon. Would you like me to put that up?
Yeah. What do you mean, put it up?
Well, I'll put it up on the merch store.
Put it up on the merch store. I don't know about any of this technological stuff you're doing. This is amazing. Oh, am I running out of paint? No.
Because I've just put up a more. It's not 16, 15 ounce Arfon. I'm sure you'll get enough tea in that.
I find that highly confusing. You're talking about liquids and you're giving me weight.
I find it highly confusing that it's an ounce.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Any more questions, John? Sorry I'm a bit quiet, everyone. It's like I've got to like pay. It's quite hard concentrating on where I'm pointing the airbrush and trying to hold a conversation. So you can see why I wear gloves, even if it ain't for just damaging the paint. It's just stopping your hands being red. Blood for the blood god and all of that. Rah. Still got some paint. Is there anything else I need to do on those? Just have a look round them. I think they're about done. Right, cleany brush time. I'll show you what I do.
Phil's asking whether you'll have this finished for the weekend so he can see it in person.
I very much doubt I will have the red painted by the end of this episode. Okay, my things take me long time. Right, this is an old pot. Right, let's see if I can get my brush in here. Right, so, and this is, there you go, look, squirty bottle full of water. And I'm just going to squeeze, look, ooh, and it like flushes it out. So you flush out your excess, then you get your brush in, and you clean, you never blow through, right? This is the trick. You get in there, good scrubby scrub, right in the hole, nice and deep. Get in there, boy, nice and deep. What film's that a reference from?
I can't remember.
What did you say? John did a swear! Yes! I got a free pass. I can say bum later.
They never heard that.
No, they didn't. They didn't.
Dodgeball.
Oh, John, I really like that you've got it. Look, so cup's looking really clean now. I've got all the worst out. I always pour it out. Then I just, there you go. I've got clean blow through. I can't show you on camera. Clean your tip. There we go. Like I said, let's mine this out of the way. Gets you a bit better shot. Clean your tip off again. You can test it out with some more water. I'll do that, a little drop in there. Let's show you. You see the water? Nice and clean. I just washed John's face. Oh, why have I gone all white, John?
Have you?
Oh, that's all right, I'm back now. It froze then for a second. Right, so I've got water all over the desk. Got a bad man. Hold on, everyone. I just got to mop up my mess. It's alright, it's only just there on my things and a little bit on all the electric sockets. But that's fine. Water likes electricity, doesn't it?
Yeah, just go ahead. Yeah. That's fine.
So, that's it, Phil. That's all you need to do when you change colours, guys.
Thanks, Alan Barlow, for the cheers.
What you might find, right, so when I started painting, my thing was sticking, because all I needed to do was give it a little, like, pull this out. Once a day you want to take it out and give it a nice wipe over at the end of play with something nice and soft and clean and just pop it back in. But if you're just washing through with water most of the time, that's all you need to do. Use your paint caps to stop it drying out while you're working. That really helps. And don't blow through until you've got all the crap out of the cup. Right, so I'm going to step up. I'm going to get my old man glasses that are all covered in water. I'm going to dry myself off. Points! They make prizes. I'm watching as well. I wish I knew how many points I had.
I'm even watching.
Are you watching, John?
Yeah.
Right. So, let's start doing some highlighting. So, I'm going to be quite cartoony. I'm going to pick some edges. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a mix again, right? Because I want to do this freehand before I start masking lines off for really hard-edged things. So I'm going to go back to my scarlet red, but instead of putting black, I'm going to put some lighter red. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know, some red. And I'll add some blood red. Now this is more like primary red, right? So about 50% blood red. It's all Vallejo Air colours. Where's my brush? Where has my brush?
Barlow, your spondoolies should have gone on now.
Hey, James. So let's give that a good old mix up. We'll probably do with a little bit more blood red, because that scarlet red is quite dark. Oh, that's good. Right, let's wash that out. So let me tell you something. When you've just changed the colour and you put your fresh paint in like this, now I'll show you something. Because this happens and people go and do it and you ruin your thing. So before I start, I'll get my glove. See that first? That's no good. That's water and paint. Give it a good few blows out and let it clear itself. And then it's still a little bit wet. There you go. It's starting to be more, doesn't blow as much. It's not so liquidy. It's because there's that last little bit of water. And while you're just testing that, you will have dirtied your needle again. So you're always cleaning this needle. So let's do some painting. Freehand. Right, and I'm going to go a bit quiet, right? So talk amongst yourselves. This is where we need like visiting Ash. Oh, hold on. I nearly killed the table, John. Shall I see if this works on there? Does that work on there? Can you guys... Oh, that's good, isn't it? Look. Oh, yeah. On this one, I'll show you. I've got a countersunk magnet. It's about 10mm magnet. And a big old steel ball bearing.
Have you masked that up?
Yes, I have used some masking tape just so that it's... Because I like it being silver at the end. So... So you can see I just caught this panel. It's really hard to see. I'm struggling here to see under this light.
So somebody's asked, hey Rasta, what's the biggest cock up you have done while painting a model?
I don't know about while painting. Oh, actually I do. I was once painting a Raven Wing army for myself for a grand tournament, and I had 6 land speeders that were all painted, all highlighted, all finished, all perfect. And then I purity sealed them, and there was a reaction with the actual plastic because of some release agent, and the whole things were ruined. And yeah, that was pretty heartbreaking.
We've got Phil Pond leaving us, I think.
Are you off, Phil?
Is it Phil? Phil 0091? I can't remember if that's Phil or not. But,
Just leave it running, bro. You earn your spondoolies that way.
you said no, only ever had bad experience with purity seal.
Yeah, I don't use it anymore. So there's not much of a colour change with this red. I might actually step up to another one in a second.
So you use Rust-Oleum to seal your dial covers. Do you use the same on the actual models?
Some of the models. A lot of the time though I use Vallejo actual their matte varnishes or gloss varnishes,
Yeah,
and
bowl.
put them through an airbrush.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah. Somebody just said the matte varnish. I prefer the matte varnish from Vallejo.
yeah, I mean, so you guys can start to see some of that lighter red going on, right? So this is just the overall. Because I'll be honest with you, my brush is playing up a little bit. Might well be because I've got a little bit of dry red paint when I mixed up. Just
VP1613 says, hey Rasta, do you make the black bases or do you order them from somewhere? If so, where from?
oh no, the black base is just a base painted black, and this is a brass rod with a steel ball bearing. I prefer the brass rod, but you can just add the steel ball bearing to the normal pegs. But
so is that black primer or?
yeah, it's just Halford's black primer, or you know, any black primer, I suppose. Yeah, I prefer the black bases. Yeah, she's... My brush is being a little bit temperamental, and I think that's because of my paint. This is kind of good though, you know, that you see that I can struggle with it at times. But it's okay, this colour change is not really where I want it to be. I want it to be much stronger than this before I start being really delicate. So I can get some big areas, just red it up a little bit more before I start going in with a lighter red. So if you notice, I've just sprayed over the top of the canopy. You can see there's some light and darks going on there, different areas. And I'm going to really make all this start popping out in a bit, yeah? This is just the first part where I can be quite broad. And then when I go through and clean my brush again, I'll get it working a bit better for the next colour.
Dolly's asking how to earn spondoolies.
Just watch,
Yeah.
donate,
Yeah,
cheer, subscribe, stuff like that. Watching live's the way to do it, guys. It doesn't work when you're not live.
Yeah. And the more you talk on the stream as well, the
there
more
you go.
learn.
Yeah, so those of you that are enthusiastic question askers will earn more spondoolies.
Dolly, I'll make sure your points are on there, mate.
Right, so do a little bit on these wings with this colour. So
Is that a hex nut that the magnet bearing sits
no, it's just a steel ball bearing, you know, like used for catapult ammo. You can buy them again on eBay. They're really, really cheap. I use some emery paper, I sand it down, and because that's a brass tube, it's kind of easy to six. It's like a little egg cup, if you know what I mean.
on? And it's a countersunk magnet on the actual.
Yeah, and the magnet is... I'll show you. Hold on. Let me find my stand for my brush. Look, I'll show you what the magnet looks like. That's all the magnet is. So it's got a divot in the magnet.
What's called a countersunk.
Yeah, it's called a countersunk ring magnet. And then that is just a steel ball bearing that has been stuck to a tube. That could get stuck to a peg, and that's sanded with emery paper. And then it really is rock solid. If you get the right size magnets for the ships. I mean, the big ships you're looking, 10mm should do you, unless you're looking at one of the really big ships. And then you have to go like speciality nuts. Speciality magnets even. Big, massive, massive ones.
Somebody saying you're impressed by how quiet your compressor is.
Well, my compressor is in another room, so to speak. It's just behind the wall. We got a long hose. It's not that quiet, but it's not oppressive, my compressor. But it'll be running a lot at the moment because I'm using a lot of air. But yeah, that's it. It's just gone on and gone off. You shouldn't really hear too much.
It's a good tip from O2X2 do some isopropyl and alcohol to wipe off paint that gets on the magnet.
Yeah, the only thing about that is it can damage the paint if you do touch your paint. But yeah, that's why I mask it up normally. Yeah. I do love me a bit of masking tape. We're definitely going to do a test of that little compressor I showed you guys the other day. I'm going to paint something, like do an episode where I use it and give you my opinions at the end. There's definitely something in my brush now. The more you use airbrushes, the more you'll learn when they're not quite right, and it's alright, they get like that. You can still work through a lot of stuff. Right, let me give this brush a clean. Might have to pull the needle out, but it's okay. So you see them bubbles? That's a sign that there's a blockage because it's blowing air back. Normally easily remedied just by another good clean. There can sometimes be bits of dry paint in the actual paint that you pour in. It only takes a little bit to get in that gap. It's so small.
Excellent. Tavern Wars just donated.
Thank you, thank you. All your cheers and all of your subscriptions really help us to keep doing this. I've actually been really buzzing about this one. It is really much harder for me to paint and talk than it is for when I model, make and talk. And it's much harder for me to see the stream comments. So I'm not totally happy. I'm going to take it apart. So I take my front off. I've got an inner, the actual nozzle. Right, this is always finger tight with mine. I never overdo them. Just pop that on there. I'm going to pull this needle out. Should only take a second. So give that a nice clean. I've got my little sharpener there.
Jack Wamper wants to know, is it just tap water?
Yeah. No, it's not, Jack. It's Rasta Maice water, available from Weekend Warlords. It's been carried down the Himalayas on the back of a virgin donkey. It's very valuable stuff. Nothing else will match. And we sell it here at the bargain price of £1 a bottle. So come in and get your Rasta Maice approved water. I'm just going to have a look in here. And this is an old needle that I carry with me just to go through. Sometimes you get little bits caught in here. And you can go through and you can run it on the inside And there might be a little bit of dry paint that I've got in there, but so far nothing seems to be coming out. Yeah, there is a few bits. You can see them. It's okay. That's what it needed. It just needed a little breakdown and a little make sure that it was nice and clean.
Right, so Alan Barlow said he was thinking of painting some Legion Stormtroopers in camo theme. Would you do that purely with an airbrush?
No. Lots of hand painting. Would be lots and lots of hand painting. I'm sure you could do some of it, but
you could probably do the base colours.
you could probably do some base colours and stuff, but no, I certainly wouldn't think that they're that. No, I think if you really were going to go proper camo, you'd need to do it by hand.
The only way you could do it is on a bigger model, like a vehicle or something like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, but I mean, you've got different areas to play with at that point. So I'm just looking at the spray off the tip of my needle, and it looks quite even. Just letting it blow itself through.
Probably not best to blow it into the computer there, George.
Oh, sorry, dude. I'll blow it. Oh my God, blow it at you. Okay. Sorry, everyone. I think I might have just blown up the computer. So, I am going to switch up to a much lighter red, but I'm going to do some masking. Because if I don't do some masking, I'm going to overspray a little bit. And it is quite a big jump, and I want this to be quite graphic, right? What kind of camo were you thinking? Disruptive pattern, digital, multi-terrain pattern, tiger stripe. Oh, they're having like a man talk. This is what men talk about. Real men. I like it, John. Yeah. Men who wear berets. And drive tanks. Right, so let's pick a couple of areas to go with. So I've got some masking tape. You see just here? I'm going to show you in shot. So I've got some lines of masking tape. I've got lots of different thicknesses. I use loads of masking tape. And I'll just get it under my knife. You see? Piece of masking tape. And I'm going to mask up. I'm just going to mask up this edge. Right, so now what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to put some red in this thing. And I'm going to go through a process of using little bits of masking tape to just help me block off certain areas. I'm not trying to mask the whole model at once, and I'm going to work around and keep repeating this process, and then I will be coming back later and doing it with a different colour. Right, so a lot of what I do with the airbrush is about this. It's about the patience to sit down and mask and remask and then mask a bit more. But you will get some really fantastic little effects. You get these lovely hard edges and soft fades that you can't really get any other way. So let's do that. And then I'll just mirror the other side. Might as well. Get them both done at once while we're at it.
So OCX pregame is asking about waiting times between masking.
This seems alright. It's pretty dry because I've worked the wings. It's kind of dry enough. This is proper modelling masking tape as well. It's kind of low tack, and if you've cleaned the model properly first and it's got a good primer coat, that's what you've got to worry about. It's more about paint lifting off of plastic than paint lifting off of paint. Once you've actually started laying down layers of paint, they act as a really good like adhesive surface, because paint's not smooth at all. It's actually, you know, really quite rough if you looked at it under a microscope.
They call it orange peel.
Yeah.
Effect, don't they?
Well, one of the tricks I used to use when I was priming resin models years ago was to spray them with varnish before we'd spray them with paint, because that was even less smooth. It helped create a primer for the actual primer. So, there's some bits, and I'm going to get some red. And we're going to start the process. We're going to use raw red or blood red.
You do sometimes use your hairdryer though, don't you? When you.
Oh yeah, I often use my hairdryer. I haven't. It's hairdryer somewhere, isn't it?
Next one.
you sure?
I thought it was. Not in there?
No.
Is it in the top one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was over there somewhere.
Is there anywhere we can? So, and a little.
Right next to you.
Ah, there. Okay, perfect. I find the acrylic paints don't take very long though, you know. I certainly, like when I'm varnishing stuff, I will leave varnish for 4 hours before I touch a model because you just, it can not cure well and you leave like a thumbprint or a little bit of your fingerprint in the varnish level.
So arcing on. Do you have any tips for masking off circles? I'm looking at doing a circuit board tron scheme, but the circles at the end of the lines are my sticking point.
Right, so I would recommend you contacting ProTech Models and having some specific masks made of the circles. Yeah, you need to. You need a mask if you want a circle. You can't to mask. It depends how small it is, because you can use. Where's my tapes? You can use this stuff, which is flexible masking tape, which bends the opposite. You know, not the ways any tape would bend. It bends the opposite ways. But it's only going to bend so much, and if you're talking really tiny circles, masks are the way to go, definitely. So always back and forward and cleaning. Right, let's unpeel that little bit of tape and then move on, so to speak. So can you see? You can see the lighter red and you can see the darker red. And then I'm going to do the same on this next layer of panels. And then I'll create a somewhat graphic effect. It's not based in reality, but it looks cool, man. And that's what it's all about. So look, I can even reuse my tapes. I often do. And it's often one edge. When I'm doing this sort of effect, it's just one edge I go from. And it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't even have to be continuous. Continuous. Or have continuity. That's what I meant to say. Right, so I want to work from this edge that way, so I'll mask like that, and then I'll get one of those little bits, just put it here. Right, so I'm just going to do that bit. Then I'm going to take off this bit of tape and move it down. Clean my needle. And again.
So HME 338.
Hold on. Again, can you see what's happening now in the light? Yeah. Go HME. Henry Me. Hello, Henry.
Yeah, I guess that is Henry
It's
Me.
Henry
Yeah.
Me. Yeah.
Been thinking of getting an airbrush. Is there a particular brand that you would recommend?
Henry. There's 2 videos you can watch, young man. There's an episode of this where I paint some lightning with the airbrush I'm using, and then on is it on Twitter or on YouTube? The other one, it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
On YouTube, there's a video of me reviewing an Iwata Neo. That's the one I recommend for you as a starter brush. Definitely. Watch the video. Give you a good idea.
It's the one that you've used for a long time.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, this has become like the step up. Okay, so let's get that off. Right, and then I'm just going to run the brush up that edge without any tape. Because I don't.
Paul's doing my job in the chat.
What's Jeff Ball doing?
He's posting links to videos that people are asking for.
Jeff, you're just an excellent human being. So, when you spray with a brush, can you see? You can see better now there, right? What's happening with the reds? So when you spray with a brush, oh, I ain't got my cover on. I'm telling you guys to do this stuff. Put your covers on. You can change the angle of attack, right? And you can catch an edge with the angle of the brush. It's very hard for me to demonstrate exactly that while working, but let me try. So I start to see it on my finger. You can see it, right? Then I come, look, and then it catches the edge. And then, look, I'm moving up that edge. I need a medal for this, John.
That's pretty cool, mate.
Right? Can you see that, guys? And I'm still leaving that darker in that gap, right? I'm moving down.
That's what it's about, getting that shading, isn't it? Between the panels.
Yeah. See, look, so I've still left that thin line, a nice graduated dark colour. I'm going to go right over the tip. It don't matter there because that's all going to be black anyway. But, do you see? So it's about angle of attack a lot of the time. When you freehand with your brush, you turn and you work comfortably with your piece. Right. So there was I did have a little bit of a paint lift just on that corner edge. But it's okay, easily fixed. I will hair dry this though, because I'm going to start holding on to it. But I mean, what are you meant to do when you're hairspraying? Thank you for following. That'll do. Do you know, it's funny, right? Weekend Warlords, I've got lots of hair, but neither of these two guys that have this hair dryer here got any hair at all. What have you been drying, John?
Well, not the hair on my head.
Oh, John is referring to other bodily hair.
I'm built like a gorilla, George, you know that.
You were hoping I weren't going to mention the pubis then, weren't you, John?
The hair on my chest, dude.
Oh, sorry. I thought that's what you meant. Let's put my old man glasses back on. So I'm just going to repeat that back up the front. Right? And I've showed you once. I'm going to show you about 1 million more times on this model. These streams are not going to be about quick. These are going to be, honestly to God, how long these things take, so you can see. Gives you guys a much better realistic view of how long you should be spending, so you don't get demoralised when you're like, oh, it's taking hours. It's meant to. String it out. It's like making love. Take your time.
Oh, fixing the stream, gifting subs to people. Thank you all for it.
And moving down. When you get into a little rhythm as well, right, and you find these nice parts of the ships, it all comes together quite quickly. And putting those sorts of fades in any colour is very hard to do with a brush. But I will be doing lots of brush painting right on this. Do not fear. Do not fear, everyone. That's why I picked this red. Only part of this can be done with the airbrush. It will be this red, and then I'll start using some orange, and then everything I do at that point has got to be done by hand. All the real thing that makes it pop will be done by hand. But I'm not just going to spoil you and do an area. I'm going to actually work this whole model. Just getting those inside as well. Don't forget about those. Right, now let's pull this all off. Put my brush down. So you can see we're starting to get there on the front. Just a bit of colour. Remember, lots of way to go, and the cloaking's going to be awesome, right? Because once you've got these reds and really highlighted edges, really graphically painted like a cartoon, then you're going to have this band running across here of like pitch black, but then with bluey white lightning edges all running into the black. That's what's going to happen. It's going to look sick. It's going to look sick. One of the most difficult things about painting and painting projects is knowing what it's going to look like at the end, and that comes from experience of painting, because when you're at like the early stages, it's often really demoralizing, because you're like, oh, but I've got this picture and it don't look like that yet, and it's like, it's cool, it takes time. Understand that the only time a model's truly finished is right up that last final brushstroke, and up until that point you're always going to kick yourself a bit and like go, oh, it's not quite, because you've got to do the works. So do the works. It's cool. Take your time. Don't let it like get in your head and then beat you because you think, oh, I can't do it. It's not quite there yet. So again, that technique I was talking about, just catching the edge. Nice. Nice. Let's see if we can get that back on. Where's my base gone? There you go. Look already. There's, 3 or 4 reds in there. So let's go up that centre bit with my brush. I'm probably just going to try and get that without masking. So I will also, look, see where I put my thumb? Because I want to start against my thumb. I'll see the paint coming. I'll find the line. And then I worked in a straight line, straight along that strip. It's learning that if you can take anything away from watching this is what I want you to learn, is like notice. And that can be hard with this little camera that's really close. Try and notice where I'm putting my fingers and where I'm holding things and how I'm turning things. So I'm going to move on to this area here, and I don't need to mask any of this. I can just right, so I'm going to spray the circle. So just little rotation out from the centre. Centre's the strongest red. I've still got dark around the edges of the circle. Right, and this doesn't matter if you go over some of these lines, the darker lines, because we can put some back, and we're also going to be highlighting. See, I just gave some air then, and for some reason it just gave me a bit of water. So dry that off. So actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to do two sides of light coming towards a darker centre. So if I give myself a little bit of tape here and here, it helps me to get a nice hard line against this. Is Mr. Dalton on?
I can find the website, just a quick Google to find it. I think it only does come from one place. It's from Culture Hustle, I believe.
Okay. I'm surprised the great Grand Moff is not watching. Shocked, in fact. Hurt, wounded. So just moving around the ball. I like to get all the way around the balls. Check them from all angles. Make sure they're red all over. Sorry, just that shot. You start to see. I will be careful with the ball. Oh, I've got this scalpel right on the ball.
So, H-Me is asking what paints do you use with an airbrush?
So, you should be able to really use any paint with an airbrush in some respects if you thin it down enough, but the easiest thing to do is to buy specific paints that are aimed at an airbrush. So I use Game Air, Vallejo Game Air, but there are others available. I just haven't used them, so I can't tell you to go and use them. That's what I'm using. I use the odd Games Workshop paint, but yeah, mainly the Game Air stuff. This pre-mixed, you might need to once in a blue moon add a spot of thinner as the paint gets older, but generally, so because I've got to that point, because I got to this point where I've got these two and I've got a dark bit, I'm just going to airbrush a bit in the middle and feather it myself. So can you see what's happening there? You're starting to build up pattern with light and dark. That's all we're doing, right? All we're doing. And that's going to become even more apparent as we move on. Right, I'm going to have a little bait. Black 3.0 was a Kickstarter. I'm not sure if it was available commercially. I don't know either. I was sent it by Mr. Dalton. And I know he got a great big bottle, and he sent me a tiny little bottle. I was gifted a bottle of the Black 2.0, but I never used it. You know.
Culture Shock definitely sell 2.0. 3.0 I think is out of stock at the moment. I think it's them who kickstarted it.
Right, okay. But we'll see, won't we, if it's worth the hype. Or, because I've got to varnish the model, innit? So is that going to affect it? Is it really then the varnish that really dictates what we see? Culture is some of the people that made it. They're sold at the moment, but might have it. You're very good, Kai. Thank you very much, mate. You're becoming redundant, John.
Yeah, oh yeah. I always just repeated what I just said.
So, for those of you just with
don't
us,
think they can hear me.
I'm sure they can hear you. How long we been on, John?
We have been on an hour and 25 minutes.
Oh, you're kidding me, and I've done nothing. Right, so I'm not even going to go and do my QVC bit. I was going to say we've got a competition going on that if you've typed raffle, you might win a dial cover, but I'll just carry on working. So I'm just going to get in here. You just freehand that panel at the front and freehand this one. So I'm going to catch an edge. With that edge again, I'm going to catch just the corners of these. That method. Clean my needle. Right, let's just pop a bit of tape on these bits. Moving across to the other side. What's uptime? What's that mean?
I don't know. I think that's probably you can use that.
Hey?
There's all sorts of commands that you can use in the stream. I don't think I've got them all activated though. Maybe that will just mess me down.
So wave 3 dial covers, peeps. I don't know who was watching earlier and who wasn't. I'm just going to grab them quickly. I just want to show you. Quick bit of self-promotion. Obi Kenobi. Darth Maul. Awesome. Part of Wave 7. Hope to have them out on Friday. So please stay tuned and please order some because they've cost me an arm and a leg. Look at that. It's getting there. It's looking all and angry. Angry. I want a little bit of red on these struts.
Somebody asking any plans for a Geary dial?
I've got plans for all of them eventually, my friends. I'm just trying to tie them in with what they're releasing rather than attacking a universe that massive from whichever angle I feel like it. I'm certainly looking at... So I've got 7 in my Wave 3 Part 1 and then another 5 or 4 or 5 or 6 Part 2 for my Wave 3, which is all your Jedi separatist stuff. But then I'm looking at doing a Ghost wave because the Ghost is coming back out, isn't it? So Hera, all of the characters from the Ghost that you can have in the Ghost. So I'm really just trying to tie in with what is being re-released, rather than being like, oh no, I'll design a dial because it's in the meta at the moment. I don't know if Guri really is. But Guri's one that's kind of left me a lot of thought as to what I'd really do with her, because I want her to be really feminine, but still a robot. So can you see this now, guys? This is just the red, right? So we started with the black red. We used a bit of the scarlet red and the blood red, and now we've jumped right up to blood red itself. And we've got some really nice definition. A lot of people, and I don't know whether it's actually the monitor I'm watching. I'm sure the camera looks much better. I remember it looking much better. But a lot of people would go, that's lovely, that's enough. We're just starting. We're just starting. So now we're going to turn over and do some more underneath. Hey, Laszlo. Laszlo's on the stream. I like it, I like it. So what are you guys working on at the moment? Anything? Has the stream inspired you to convert something? Oh, wait. A few more days, you'll see all the ones I painted for UKTC. And they are insane. In the classic UKTC colours. So,
should we ask them something? Should we put a poll up?
Yeah, what about?
I don't know.
Well, you help me out, John, because I'm actually trying to concentrate and do the works. So, like, using my brain to think of stuff. What poll should we do? What poll should we do for you lot? Come on, guys, help us out. Oh, John, you're terrible.
Yeah.
You've suggested it.
Yeah, I suggested it.
And you've ruined the stream. We might as well just pack it all up. So let's do. Should I do that edge in? Yeah. Yeah. Let's start on this outside. You still not thought of nothing, John?
No.
Terrible. Captain Rex, I hope you heard my answer to your varnish question earlier. So catching that outside edge, remember like I showed you? So I'm turning my airbrush, moving the stream of paint down towards the edge. Right, so I need a couple more bits of masking tape. I've actually expended the ones I'm using. They're a bit too short for this. And so look, this is me sticking tape straight onto what I just painted.
So somebody saying you have inspired him. Just started on a jump master for Dengar with tie winglets.
Wicked. 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 That's it, it's made it all worth doing. Even if one person's gone and bust out their stuff.
That's Marty, Captain Rex.
Oh, wicked, Marty. It's just great fun. It's old-fashioned stuff making models, but it's awesome. Cleaning my needle. It's the recurring thing, yeah? Just clean that needle. It's going to get dried out.
Park Hughes, I'm planning to paint my Full Republic arts with some Vallejo Fluoro paint.
Oh, shiny.
Well, maybe you should ask what you're going to do next after this one's complete.
Well, but I don't know yet, John.
Have you got any ideas?
I've got a few different ideas.
Some options, maybe.
Yeah, no, that's a bit too broad. That's like asking me to nail down what flavour ice cream I'm going to want to eat in 2 weeks' time.
It's always rum and raisin, isn't it?
I don't know, mate. I'm Italian.
It's got to be rum
It could be anything.
I love rum and raisin.
I will say, John,
Yeah.
I need more light.
You need more light?
I do, mate. I'm
Yeah.
not saying right now, but we're definitely going to have to look at more light for me because I'm struggling to see any paint, any colour.
It's massive as it is. Somebody asked earlier what lights we use.
Yeah, I mean,
We use Interfit F5s, 2 of them.
I'll have to. Thing is, the lamp I've got, I'd need to drill a hole in the worktop because it doesn't have a mount. It has just a hole thing that it mounts into.
Well, we were talking about redoing the table and that. Should we ask that, whether people would like to see what we do?
There you go, John. So we got a bit of a question coming for you guys. A little poll. Oh, don't want to damage my brush. Put those down. Same sort of thing going on underneath.
It's kind of difficult. I will ask it now.
So, John's going to put up a question basically asking you about, we are going to soon be changing the room that we film in, right? Because it's just a desk and we need much more space and we need to make a proper painting area and with built-in lighting rig like we did when we were doing the gaming stuff. We need to do something for the studio for when we're doing Tuesday night stream and when I'm doing this, because this is going to become a reality now. Every week I'm going to be here doing this. So would you like to see the process that we go through to build the new studio? Would that be a video you'd be interested in watching? And what have they got to type, John?
Yes or no?
So if you'd like to see, and it'd be like, you know, it's going to be a day's work, I should imagine, and it'll be speeded up and slowed down and all of that. But if you'd like to see what we're going to end up doing in here, and then a kind of a bit of a broader view of what the studio actually looks like, because it is actually only just a little hovel. It is though, isn't it?
We call it the black hole.
The black hole. Let's do that like that. Brush. Clean the needle.
I think that's a yes.
Has that everyone been yes?
Well, so far. Big Tim's put no. But only because the chart's too red.
Whoa, that's really red. It's a Labour victory for Nuneaton. So why don't we all have a nice, relaxed conversation about politics?
No.
Put up a Brexit poll. Do that. That'll go down well. That'll get them fighting in the chat.
So yeah, that's.
Well, that's what we're going to do then, people.
We're going to be making that video. It looks like. I will put up another poll now, though.
Which is, don't do a Brexit one for God's sake, John.
No, I'll do the one that I did earlier on the Facebook page, but some of our American friends probably didn't see it.
Oh, you guys are going to love this. Wait till you hear this question. Oh, and spoiler alert, at some random point in this stream, I'm just going to blurt out what happens in Endgame. Not really.
Spoiler.
It's amazing, though. That's all I will say. But that is just my opinion. It could be rubbish, and I may be completely wrong. But it was amazing. So it's actually coming together quite quickly, to be fair. Getting through quite a big model. No, I didn't, Ulfric. I don't think I needed to, but now that I've seen it, now I want to watch Captain Marvel just to fill in a few questions I got about her. But she wasn't the biggest character in it, but she was clearly in it. I'm just going to shut up. It was awesome. I loved it. 3,000 out of 10. Look, he's so caught up in his internet. I could say anything. I could say like Bumtree and he wouldn't even know. The only spoiler is that you're guaranteed to shed a tear or three. Yeah, no, really, really great film. What I will say is I thought those films were basically, they'd gone as big and as amazing as you could ever go. I was wrong. Very wrong. It was bloody brilliant. Even at 3 hours, and even that, Jesus, man, when people go to the cinema and take a carrier bag full of crisps and have conversations, and it does my head in. I had loads of Ally McBeal moments where I was literally putting a claw hammer in the guy in front of me's head. He was wearing a baseball cap with like the flip up. He kept sitting there. I couldn't see nothing. I wanted to kill him. Although I'm a complete pacifist, by the way, guys. That's only just a metaphor. It didn't actually happen. So I'm just going to do that little bit here. Have you done your question yet?
The voting count at the moment. It's feeling awkward.
See, I'm reusing my tape as well. I ain't used loads of tape. I am going to mask that. Just so that I don't get overspray on the dark on the dome now, because I want that to stay dark on those edges going into there, but I do want that bit quite light. What were they all saying? What are they all saying, John? There's things being said and I'm missing it. You need to...
They're all saying how good Endgame was. I have to agree.
There's masking tapes. Oh no. Is that Tamiya masking tape you use? No, it's what make is it, John?
It's Hobby something, isn't it?
This yellow little modelling masking tape, it's all the same. The best, what was the brand we sell? The cheapest version of it. This is effectively Tamiya masking tape, right? But we found lots of different stockists, and we'll tell you which one we stock because it's the cheapest way to buy it.
It's Model Craft.
Model Craft, and we carry that in store or online, and you can get this thing up to like that. Look, it's so thin, really thin or really wide. I also use, when I want a really big bit of tape, frog tape. Look, that's how wide that is, and I can cut actual templates into it and I'll use them. It doesn't seem to peel the paint off. But yeah, masking tape's wicked, and it's just low tack, but it has like a paint block, I think, a bit like frog tape does.
Right, we've got a question for him.
Right, we got a question, guys, and the question is it that question?
Yeah.
The question is, if you only had to watch one ever, what would it be? Avengers Endgame or Game of Thrones Season 8? It's an easy answer for me because I've never seen a single episode of Game of Thrones, so I'm not bothered.
So type Endgame or GO2T space S8.
So type Endgame or GOT S8.
We had nearly 200 votes on the Facebook page, and it was almost exactly split.
Really?
Yeah. GOT at the moment.
So I'm being a tiny bit more freehand underneath because it is underneath, but that really means nothing to me. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean I ain't going to paint it.
Next one is Tavern Wars of Game of Thrones.
Was that your belly, John? Did your belly just do a rumbly tummy noise?
It was my chair.
Ah, it was your chair. Or did you do a fart, John?
No, you know that.
If it was me, Rasta, you'd be dead. Ogres are not like parfait. Everybody likes parfait, though.
It's ridiculous.
Just like the what's this? What here? I'll need to turn the lights off. Is a bit dark. Oh right, okay. You still talking about Endgame? It's cool, man. I love that you lot are bothered about that. It was really good. I was totally taken aback by the whole film. It was really good little film. But I'm much more excited now about sitting down in my ass. That's a house for my American viewers, or in my condo. That's a bird in Europe, isn't it? A condor.
Condor. I don't think they have them in Europe.
No, don't they? Yeah, I'm sure they do, don't we?
No,
I don't know anything. So that's the first red done on that, and underneath. I'll show you underneath. So we've got some night lights and darks. Picked out some panel lines. Stage 1, right? Stage 1 on the body. Going to jump onto a wing, and I've got to do this. And I know I'm like really fighting myself to just jump on to an orange and then to a yellow and hurry this out. But I should do it, shouldn't I? So the wings will be a little bit more graphic. There won't be quite as much masking.
You should watch Game of Thrones because it's got more votes.
Oh, well. But it's too late now because I've seen Endgame. Because I can't see Game of Thrones now. Because I chose. I chose on Saturday.
Question, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm glad you all understand what I'm doing. I've got to get, like a vape hat. You know, like they have Australians have those baseball caps with 2 cans of beer and the pipes. I know that's just complete and utter nonsense, but we all like to think that's how they walk around. Just like French people walk around with strings of onions on. Do you know what I mean? So just working from the front of this wing. Let's get a bit more in.
Let me move the pole out now. I think Game of Thrones won that one, though.
Game of Thrones got it.
But on the Facebook page, it was Endgame.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it's very close, though.
Well, there was a nice little pointless thing for you all to comment on. So, because I've got a big area, I'm just catching both edges. Yeah, I'm really not got enough light for me. It's because of my very uncolour sensitive eyes. So, and I'm going to turn it over and work it like this. Oh, that's a bit better. The difference is, right, the light's coming from there, where I'm used to light coming from directly above my head. Do you get what I'm saying? So it gives you a different... You see the paint hitting...
Well, this is something we'd like to change up if we actually did the studio, wouldn't it?
Definitely. So guys, if you guys get out there and support Rasta Maice Painting Patreon, that'll really help. $2 a month to support the streaming at Weekend Warlords. It's soon going to become the Weekend Warlords Network Patreon. And we're going to be doing a little video and letting you know what that's going to entail. But a $2 a month subscription really would mean the world to us. Just help us to just grow what we're doing. Get in some more kit, etc, etc. Rebuild the studio. It all costs money. None of us drive nice cars. In fact, John's driving his wife's car at the moment. And I'm driving my dad's and me Dan. Right, so I will... So you can see I've got the fade, the lighter red at the front, going back to the dark. And then I'm going to do this just for a nice, simple one there. One there. Then I'm going to go both edges and darker in the middle. You can see that. Don't know what side's wing this is. I may well be painting stuff I'll spray over black. And when I get to the end here, I'm going to do this centre section first. What I'm doing with stuff like this is like I'm not really working to lights. I'm just creating point of interest. Just take away a model, because if this was real movie quality, there'd be no detail. So, working down that tape line. So the opposite of like drawing a black line, I'm drawing a red line, a lighter line to pick out that. And then I'll catch those two edges now. So just blown in. And I've just got that little panel to do there.
So just over 15 minutes left on the giveaway.
Is that what we got left on the stream?
Well, it can go as long as we like on the stream.
Yeah, no, but I mean, is that roughly where we're at? Because I probably will be going a little bit more tonight, I think.
Yeah.
Just if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
I'm sure they won't mind. Yeah, there's no laws here. We make the rules, John. By the way, below the waist, I'm totally naked. And moving on. John's just above the waist naked today. We felt that if both of us did below the waist naked, it would leave people talking. So, right, I'm going to put a bit over this. I want to catch this little box area.
Ulfric sat in the bath drinking Kraken.
Ooh, it's Ulfric. Yeah. Yay! Ulfric. Ulfric. Kraken. The Kraken is a beast for when you're in the depths.
Has Rasta seen the ceramic Kraken bottle available on Amazon?
No.
I don't know, but I have actually got a picture of one. Believe it or not.
What ceramic Kraken bottle?
I happened to be in a pub the other day and took a picture of a Kraken bottle.
You out in pubs, John, without me? First Ash leaves me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's good, isn't it? Show it to the stream.
I'll show you like that. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
And it's all 3D as well. The actual tentacles are
Yeah.
boss.
I want it. I want it. But then you'd never know when you were running out.
No.
Like once the bottle of Kraken gets below the halfway point, it's always panic stations, as far as I'm concerned. Go. That's enough on that wing like that. And I'll just catch the insides. I'm just going to freehand, as I ain't too bothered. So I'm just going to catch all the edges. You saw what I did there, right? Just I want to. It's hard to teach and talk. So I just edged and feathered here. That's it. Just simple on the inside. It's going to be darker anyway, isn't it? Bit at the back. Clean my needle. That'll do on the inside. We've got other layers to do yet, but that'll do. That's all I needed to do on that. You can see that. I'm going to do the other one. I mean, you might as well. I might as well just get it all done. I've got the same colour in, haven't I? Because I'm going back and forward. What was that big load of letters?
That's a link to a Kraken retro metal wall, I think.
Get us a picture, John. I'm going to build a new man cave. I'm going to build it in my front room. Plan is, in about a year's time, God willing, Jah willing, I will have made enough money to do my front room up. I very much doubt it, but anyway. And my front room is going to become my new studio, because I've been working I've got a studio in the garden. It's 20 by 10. But it's a little bit low ceiling and it can be a bit oppressive sometimes, that room. So I want to open it up. I want to make my front room kind of somewhere where I can still sit down, but massive great big bench under my window. And then when I do that, I want to put in 2-3 cameras and stream like religiously, 3-4 times a week sort of thing. Might as well just have you guys in the studio with me. You can pop in whenever. I don't have to obsessively talk at you. I can just have some background music and you can see what goes on in my little world while I'm working. But yeah, you guys keep going buying dial covers. It might happen one day. Don't be printing any pony ones off either. Otherwise you'd be like one of those people that wears fake Gucci. And no one wants to be one of them. Hey, John.
No. That's what was posted up for your man cave.
I like it.
Totally off screen, I'm
Oh, sorry, ladies. Sorry, my darlings. And then I can just feather in. Again at the back. Can I put enough there on that one? I don't think I did. Do my double line. We got any music going on in the background, John?
We haven't, but it's a kind of a tricky one to come up with. Let me find some YouTube license-free music.
I'm just concerned for my poor viewers.
YouTube do have a bank of royalty-free music.
Just cleaning my needle again, guys. Always with the cleaning the needles. That's all you do. So I picked up the Mortal Engines DVD yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
I haven't seen it yet, so don't spoil it, but I'm quite excited about seeing it. The trailer looks alright. Did you like it or did you dislike it, John?
I actually quite thought it was alright.
That's
There's
all that
a lot
matters.
of people who didn't, but
Oh, well, you know.
I thought it was alright. You know the guy who wrote it?
Yeah, no, I don't know who wrote it.
Yeah, but he actually did a book signing, yeah.
No.
Yeah, we had him in during the festival.
See? If you come to Warlords, you make it big.
And we had no idea who he was.
You're joking.
No.
Let's see. Oh, am I out of paint? I'm out of paint. Look, empty paint.
I have no idea if that's going to the stream or not right now.
If what is?
The music I just put on.
Guys, can you hear some music in the background now? Hey, James. Just noticed you're with us, brother. Hope you had a nice time the weekend in Germany. Was at System Open. I know James was. No music, John. We're trying to put a little background music on for you because I know this stream, it's been a bit harder for me because I do have to really focus, write down what I'm doing. And I am trying to actually get work done rather than just talk about it. The new side is not really, isn't it? No, not. Is that Timo? Timo Rabbi. They haven't re-released the silencer yet. No, not as far as I'm aware. I haven't even seen them planning to. I do believe they said they were going to be doing a smaller model.
Right, yeah, we've got some music now.
Oh, we got music now. Yay! OCX.
We can't actually hear the music here, so we have no idea if it's any good.
Yeah, is it any good? Is it reggae? If it's not reggae, it's not going to be any good. I'm sorry, everyone. No music on Twitch, but you got it on YouTube.
Really?
Is that right, OCX? Are you on YouTube? That's both the wings done.
You just have to sing Rasta. We'll try that for next time.
Both the wings done. Both the wings. Something like that. No, John. Right. So I've done the wings. Let's get rid of these. I deserve new bits of masking tape for the next level. I'm going to treat myself to fresh bits. Yeah. I've got something overall going. Right. Now, I'm going to have a little vape, have a little clean out, and then I'm going to step up and start picking out a few bits with the orange. Start catching a few more edges. And then I'm going to do some thick ass brush highlighting. But I might do the brush highlighting after I've done the, the lightning cloaking pattern. In case I need to fix things, it might be easier to do it that way around. So let's have another clean out. What happened there, John?
Don't know. What did happen there?
What was that question above King Chimp?
Are these minis for the Star Wars tabletop war game?
These are minis for X-Wing tabletop war game. This one's been modified, but yeah.
Go back and watch the other videos.
Yeah, with a couple more of these where I start the project. See, I have a blockage. So sometimes when you get a little blockage, you can just put your air cap back on, put your finger over the front, and blow it back through. I've got loads of dry bits of paint out of that. So let's wash that out again. And now let's try it. Still a little bit. Oh, sorry, I knocked the camera, everyone. There we go. Sorry. Just spraying it at John. He said not to spray it at the computer. It's your choice, John. It can be the computer or you. You pick, mate. You pick. John's computer was only cheap. I think you got it out of the back of a skip, didn't you, mate?
Yeah.
12 quid, 15 quid,
yeah,
something like that.
It was.
It was free with 5 litres of fuel from Esso. Like you used to get watches. Oh, those were the days. A $1.99 watch every time you put £5 fuel in. I had hundreds of watches. They're all rubbish. Right, orange. Fire orange, I think. That's golden yellow. That's hot oranges too. Yeah, fire orange. I'm going to go up to fire orange. Right, this is really unopaque, which means it's really see-through. The pigment's not very strong. So whether you're painting with a brush or not, it shows through a lot. So I'll be able to use this. It's weird. It works. Trust me. This paint scheme will work. And then I'll step up to edge highlighting with a brush, with orange and with yellow, and then a bit of white in there as well. So, unfortunately, I got a remask. The same areas are masked before. So let's cut some new little strips of tape. I always cut like some random lengths. I know roughly what I'm doing. You're always better off with a bit longer. Who's Sallynet? I've never seen that name before. Who are you, Sallynet?
New viewer.
Hey, new viewer Sally. How are you? Where are you watching us from? Oh, do you know what? That'd be wicked. If we could get people in the stream to shout out where they're watching us from. That would be awesome. So, on the count of 3, in an orderly fashion though, no pushing, chuck up where you're watching from. That'd be really interesting. 1, 2, bonjour or bonsoir. It's the evening. That was my terrible bit of French. I should be ashamed. My mother's French. It's really bad, isn't it? Whereabouts in France?
They're all doing it.
California, the Bath, Taunton, Germany. Oh, I'm getting South Lincolnshire less exciting. Yeah, Walthamstow. That's where I was born. Walthamstow can no longer enter the raffle.
No, it's finished.
Malmo, are you joking? Canada, whoa, guys! Did you see how many countries were being watched in?
Sweden. Oldham.
Seattle. Oh my word! Look, West Yorkshire, Birmingham. They're all bits of England. I'm proper made up, you know. I'm a little bit overwhelmed by the fact that you lot are watching from all them different countries. That's so cool. I was born in Luton, though. I think it was a good move. I like.
California.
Eh? What's California?
California
Yeah,
from
bloody
Luton.
right it is. You're getting away, like that other viewer, getting away from our oppressive heat and humidity we have over here.
Yeah, it's terrible, isn't it?
Oh! Swanage, really? I know someone who lives in Swanage. Tim Fett. So I'm using Fire Orange. That's wicked. I love that they all did that. That's awesome of you. Thank you very much. So, oh sorry, again I'm blowing out. I had nothing then, just water. There we go, get some. So this orange, it can dry quite quickly, right, when I'm using it. It's something I've noticed. You'll notice that with different colours of paints. So now, I'm not doing it all. I'm just picking on corners and things. See that? Just that corner. And then I want some of these dark areas left, right? Because then I'm going to put some real hard highlights on those dark areas, and it'll really go pong, pop, really pop. So where else am I going to do? Is that your car alarm, John?
I don't know.
Go and check, mate. They ain't going to be touching my old bag of French nonsense. We'll catch this corner again a little bit more. Okay, moving on. Moving on. So I'm going to get this line again that I did, this little panel line. Let's get a piece to go across here, and we move down like we did the last time. It was just someone opening their car like a Rodney. Oh. Right, so look, I'll show you. I've got a problem with my brush. Look, watch. I'm giving it no paint, but I'm getting paint. That means there's something caught in the yeah, so either my needle's moved. Yeah, my needle's moved. Or there was something caught in the trap which wasn't letting my needle return. Let's have a look now. Now look, same air, no paint. I am getting a bit of a sticky needle situation here though. There we go. I can hear the air like going. So we might have to have a bit of a mid-paint clean, but let's just catch these corners. So you can see the jump up in shade from just the red we were using. Can you see that? You can see the difference, can't you, from the red to the one with the orange. Really, really, really beautiful colour transitions that are really hard to do. And then I'll add the graphic-y paintbrush stuff later. Alright, and that's going to change it again. That's enough. Catching that edge. What time is it, John?
It's 9:15. Shall we pull who won the giveaway?
We shall pull who won the giveaway. And I'm going to do the unthinkable. Right, so. Where are we? Do it, do it, do it, do it.
Ready?
Ready, guys? This is for the...
Put it on the stream, yeah.
This is for this bad boy. It's a Battle Droid dial cover.
Marty, Captain Rex.
Yeah! Captain Rex! That's coming to you. Oh, upside down. Don't know why I did that. That's coming to you, my brother. I've got your address. I will pop it in the post tomorrow. Yeah, primed Battle Droid. Absolutely. So that's coming to you, bro. I don't know if you run separatists at the moment or not. So look.
Yeah, Marty says thanks.
I want to jump on and do a little bit more, but I'm not. I'm going to resist. I'll tell you what, grab me one UKTC dial. Any UKTC dial. I just want to show you where I'm going with the red. No, they're just out there. I just want to show you where I'm going in my brain with the red. So that you know where we're working towards. The next episode, I'll finish off the orange. Then I'll be able to either get onto the handwork or I'll jump straight onto dissecting this with the black. So look, this is a sneak peek of a UKTC dial because I wanted you to understand where I'm going to go with these highlights. I'm going to put some real graphic edge work once I've finished. I'm going to make them like glow on the edges, yeah? So that's what I'm looking at doing on that red. That's where we're working towards. So we're going from that, and we'll eventually, let me get that out of the light because this is glossed varnished. We'll work our way up to this sort of edge highlight. Okay? So keep with us. Thank you as well for sticking with 2 hours of me airbrushing red. But like I said, we really wanted to make this a real deal process. So in the next episode, I will definitely be able to finish the oranges. And I'm not going to finish them. Or do you know what? If I finish the orange at home, it wouldn't be the end of the world, would it? Because you know roughly what I'm doing. But then we'll jump on to the cloaking or the actual brush work. I'm going to leave like this metal work and all of that right till the end. I'm going to get the cloaking and the bulk red laid down before I worry about picking out little bits of detail. So in the next episode, like I said, that's what we'll be jumping onto. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you kind of understand the process of where this build is going. And you learned something in this episode. I'm really liking it. I know I'm going to cover most of this up. If you think that's all going to be black and I'm going to have big chunks of black coming out of it where my fingers are.
Because you're cloaking it, aren't you?
Because I'm going to cloak it, yeah. So, but then I think that blue-white against it's going to really make the reds pop. Oh, thank you so much for saying lovely things like that. I really do. I used to give tutorials one-on-one, and I really am trying to make this as much of a learning experience in everything that I do. It is hard, and I do kind of, in the real world, when I'm sat at home, I don't sit there talking inanely at myself. So it is a bit hard to get myself into that. You know I can talk when I'm doing Rasta and Ash, or if you ever meet me, I generally don't shut up, and you're like, stick a sock in it, Rasta. But this is a new experience, me actually working through a full set of painting processes like this through a project. So how many times do you need to paint one ship? So it really does depend on the ship that I'm painting. I've painted small ships in 2 or 3 hours, and I've painted large ships that have taken over 40 hours. So they really can. I'm looking at this now after this episode. I think we've probably got another 2 episodes minimum in this. So there's at least another 4 hours work, probably more like bordering on 6 hours. Sally, this has already had 4 hours on stream and probably an hour and a half at home, so 5.5 hours. You're probably looking at close to 20 hours, 24 hours for something like this. Everything takes time. And the more time you spend on doing anything, the better it's going to be. One last question for Rasta. How do you paint the visors on the T70 helmets? They're airbrushed again. So, oh, bugger. Go and grab. One more sneak peek. You're really naughty asking these pertinent questions that I can answer. Anything with an orange visor. Oh, dude, I just like doing like.
They deserve to see it, Joe.
You do deserve to see it. Right, so here's another one. Oh, John, can we?
Oh yeah.
Sally, if you've not seen any of the rest of my work, please have a look at Rasta Maice Painting on Facebook. So this is the visor you're talking about. So I'd painted everything else on this, the reds and the golds in, and then I painted the visor area. It's called cold grey. It's just basically a really lightish grey as a base coat. Then I brush painted, where's the colour? Fire orange. 2 coats as a base coat. Then I use my masking tape to just cover the edges because I work from the bottom out. And then I start to airbrush in. I used a moon yellow first. Oh no, sun yellow was the first yellow I used. And then I step up to moon yellow, all with the airbrush, and then a little bit of white mixed into that moon yellow, just on the edges, and then I catch the edges with a little bit of a brush. I like the graphic. I mean, not certainly on this job, but that's generally how the yellowy orange visors you're after, that's how they work. And that's the generic T65 helmet for UKTC prize this year. So any of you guys going to UKTC prize, there is one of these helmets for every single round of the event. In fact, it might even be more than one around, because there's seven dials now, one for each faction. So you guys, if you're there, you could win one of these. Brilliant. Right. That's it for today. I'm going to do all my housekeeping. Please, if you haven't already liked us or subscribed, that is on YouTube and Twitch, please do that. Or follow, whatever they call it. If you haven't subscribed or signed up to Rasta Maice Painting Patreon, which is part of the bigger thing, please go and do it. There will be links about. Yeah. I don't know where. Join us tomorrow night for like 3 hours or 4 hours of gaming goodness with the Tuesday night dream stream. Anything else I've forgotten?
Probably, but
yeah.
We'll find it.
And chat, I should have left got an hour. Oh, Matt, I love you, man. I've got to get in touch soon. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching from all your different countries. Please tune in next Monday for the next episode. And if you did enjoy it, please share this out to your friends and let them know we're doing this. And we'd love the more watchers, the better. Up until then, one love.